The family home, one of the most important aspects of transferring wealth for most of my clients, because they're built equity in that home for so many years. They want to make sure they pass it free from emotional and legal pitfalls. So one of the things to consider, because it is an heirloom asset most of the time, is how to transfer the family home with the least amount of trouble. Estate planning is never a one-size-fits-all, but in most situations when we are trying to transfer the family home, we should probably think about doing so with a revocable living trust, because this gives the family the most amount of control and helps us avoid probate, which is something I'll probably discuss in another video. In this video, I'm going to discuss 3 major aspects of transferring the family home. First, what happens if the family home passes to minors? Second, what happens if multiple people are in line to receive the family home? And third, what can we do to anticipate the costs of maintaining that family home after transfer? One common desire of my clients is to transfer the family home to children. What happens when you transfer, let's say, a premature death causes the house to transfer to minor children? That could produce what's called a forced sale of the house, because there aren't enough liquid assets to pay off the mortgage, to maintain property taxes, etc. So it's important to consider life insurance for those purposes. And the other thing to consider are guardians for the child, which we typically appoint in the will. They are the ones with the legal and physical custody over that child. Wouldn't it be nice if they had a place to live too, rent-free? We can build that into the trust, that's called a residence trust, for the benefit of the guardians of the child, so that they could stay in the home and support that child until the child is old enough to either pay for the home themselves and be able to afford its expenses, or they could sell the house. But for the minority of the child's life, we're able to protect the family home and not cause it to have a forced sale. Using a residence trust, it allows us to keep the home in the trust until the child is of an adult age to either maintain the property themselves and pay for its expenses and no longer need the guardian to live there with them. And at that point, the property can transfer to the child outright or in trust, depending on how we plan for it. The second main consideration is if the family home is going to transfer to multiple people, whether multiple family members or multiple adult children. And in this case, we can't be sure who is going to receive the property. Let's say the intention is only one of them receive the property. It's important to build in what's called a first right of refusal, because the house may be the largest valued asset in the estate, and the only way to transfer and actually keep the home intact and not force a sale is to give one beneficiary the first right to buy out the other beneficiaries. And so one beneficiary can have the house, the others can have liquid assets, and there's ways inside of the trust that we can set out the rules and contingencies as to how you imagine that to be the best way forward for them. The third major consideration when transferring the family home is the cost of maintaining that home after the transfer. When my clients discuss this with me, I always challenge them to think a little bit bigger than what is immediately in front of them. What is the full picture of the cost of maintaining that home? One of the major issues is property taxes. In California specifically, at least in this point in 2023, we are still dealing with Prop 19, which has caused reassessment on family homes with very minor situations where that reassessment can be excluded. And it could be so prohibitive for the beneficiaries receiving it because their cost of living will significantly go up. The cost of property taxes could quadruple for the beneficiaries. So it's very important to think about the future full picture for transferring the family home, which includes property tax reassessment, which can vary among states, as well as vary when the laws change regarding which exclusions may or may not apply for each beneficiary receiving that home. Don't let your family home go through probate court. Use a revocable living trust so you have the most amount of control, and ideally work with an attorney to help you understand the full picture of what you're trying to accomplish. Whether it's minor children receiving the property, whether it's multiple people potentially receiving the property, or whether you need help understanding the property tax ramifications for that transfer. If you're considering transferring wealth, especially your treasured family home, you're not alone in thinking through this. I'm here to help. We can think through it together. Feel free to email me at noelle@barthattorneys.com. Just remember, every family is unique, so don't wait to make a plan. Thanks for watching.